Human beings actually evolved to endure periods of fasting. Our ancestors certainly didn't have access to 24/7 convenience stores or delivery apps, right? Yet today, our modern habit of just constant around the clock snacking has fundamentally changed how our bodies process energy. Welcome to The Explainer. I am so excited to be your guide today as we separate the facts from the fads and completely demystify intermittent fasting. We're going to take a super pragmatic, grounded approach to figure out exactly what it is, how the science works, and most importantly, how to approach it safely and effectively. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the basics of IF, then dive into some popular fasting schedules. After that, we'll weigh the pros and cons, talk about how to do it safely, and wrap up with some common mistakes to avoid. All right, let's jump right into part one, the basics of IF. So, what are we actually talking about here? Well, at its core, intermittent fasting really isn't a traditional diet at all. It's an eating pattern. We're stepping entirely away from those strict lists of good and bad foods and focusing instead on a timing strategy. It alternates between defined periods of eating and defined periods of fasting. So basically, it's all about structuring your day into distinct windows. Think about it like this. Traditional diets almost exclusively focus on exactly what you should eat, right? You're cutting carbs, you're counting macros, you're eliminating specific fats. Intermittent fasting flips that script completely. It focuses entirely on when to eat. It is a fundamental behavioral shift from restricting your food choices to simply managing your daily schedule. Moving right along to part two, popular fasting schedules. Okay, so if you're just starting out, the absolute most beginner-friendly approach is the 12-12 method. You just split your 24-hour day perfectly in half, 12 hours of fasting and a 12-hour eating window. And honestly, the best part about this, you accomplish a massive chunk of that fasting window by simply being asleep. It's a fantastic, super low-pressure way to introduce your body to the concept without completely upending your normal daytime routine. Now, once your body adapts to that, you might naturally find yourself extending that window into the really popular 16-8 method. And this simply means you're fasting for 16 hours and enjoying all of your meals within an 8-hour window. So as an example, you might finish eating dinner at 8 p.m., and then you just wouldn't break your fast the next day until noon. But hey, maybe daily restrictions just aren't your vibe. For folks who prefer more of a weekly rhythm rather than a daily clock, there's the 5-2 method. With this one, you eat normally for 5 days of the week, and then you significantly reduce your calories for 2 non-consecutive days. This just offers a totally different cadence for people who'd much rather fast on specific days instead of watching the clock every single day. All right, let's get into section 3, the pros and cons. The physiological effects here are really a bit of a balancing act. On one hand, you can unlock some truly powerful metabolic benefits. We're talking improved fat burning, easier weight management, and much better blood sugar control. Plus, it naturally encourages you to be a bit more mindful about your eating. But your body is definitely going to push back initially. You absolutely have to be prepared for some early hurdles like hunger, fatigue, dizziness, or even the very real temptation to just overeat during your window to somehow compensate for the fast. And this brings us to something absolutely crucial. You have to respect your biological boundaries. Intermittent fasting is strictly not for everyone. Pregnant or breastfeeding women should definitely avoid this. It's also not suitable for people dealing with chronic illnesses like diabetes, unless you are being very closely supervised by a medical professional. And finally, underweight individuals should completely steer clear of this eating pattern. Safety first, always. Which is a perfect segue into section 4, doing it safely. If you're going to try this, strategy is literally everything. Step 1, start slowly. Try that 12-hour window before you even think about attempting a 16-hour stretch. Step 2, and this is major, stay hydrated. Fasting from food does not mean fasting from water or herbal tea. Drink up. And step 3, above all else, listen to your body. If you feel unwell, just stop. Remember, the goal here is health, not punishment. Okay, so remember earlier when I said intermittent fasting doesn't focus on what you eat? Actually, let me clarify that a bit. That doesn't mean your eating window is suddenly a free pass to raid the pantry and eat a bunch of junk food. Your meals still need to be balanced. Think solid proteins like eggs, beans, or fish. Go for complex carbohydrates like ugali or brown rice. Add in some really good healthy fats like avocado or nuts. And of course, load up on vitamins with plenty of fruits and vegetables. It's all about keeping it accessible but keeping it nourishing. And that brings us to our final section, common mistakes to avoid. Honestly, success with IF usually comes down to just dodging a few super common traps. First, don't starve yourself only to binge on junk food later. That literally defeats the whole purpose. Don't neglect your hydration, don't rush into those extreme long fasts right out of the gate, and please never ignore genuine signs of weakness. If your body is flashing warning signs, you need to pay attention to them. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this thought. Intermittent fasting can be an incredibly helpful tool for improving your health when it's done correctly, but it should always be practiced in a balanced and safe way. At the end of the day, it is just a tool, nothing more, nothing less. And like any tool, how well it works depends entirely on the skill and the safety of the person using it. So, this brings me to my final question for you today. Looking at all the schedules, the science, and the pitfalls we just walked through, does this eating pattern actually align with your personal lifestyle and your unique health needs? It's a really fascinating shift in how we view food and energy, but honestly, only you can answer if it's the right fit for your daily rhythm. Keep exploring, keep learning, and I will see you in the next explainer.